Bonjour Mary! Today I'm going to be discussing how some plot holes in Harry Potter are not actually plot holes, and people are just being stupid about it. Number 1, why didn't the Basilisk destroy the Horcrux in Harry when it bit him in the second book? That's because Harry didn't actually die. He had to die in order for that Horcrux to be destroyed, and Harry didn't. Fawkes saved him before he could completely die. Otherwise, yeah, the Basilisk could have killed him. Number 2, why didn't Dumbledore ever help Harry out more? There are points in the series where you later find out Dumbledore knew a lot more than he was telling Harry, and he made Harry work. I think people like to attribute this and say that it's Jo's stupidity. In reality, it's Dumbledore's. Dumbledore was a very flawed individual, and you have to be able to accept that. I mean, he was put up on this pedestal as this great man, and you can view him as that way, but he was very flawed. He made a lot of big mistakes. He killed his own sister, so he's a very flawed individual. Not to mention, he thought he was doing what was best for Harry and helping Harry grow rather than just doing everything for him. And it's not like Dumbledore wasn't actively searching out Horcruxes. He did find and destroy one Horcrux, the ring. But also, don't forget that Dumbledore put that ring on his finger. A ring he knew was cursed, and he knew had a Horcrux in it, and that he knew could do bad things to him, but he put it on his hand anyway. It was going to eventually kill him. Dumbledore's kind of an idiot, and he's kind of really greedy for power, but he recognizes this in himself, and he's afraid to hold too much power, because, I mean, that's what led to Ariana's death, and that's why he chose to be a headmaster rather than the Minister of Magic. Number 3, why didn't anyone use the Time Turner to save Harry's parents or to stop Voldemort? I have several points. 1, this question comes up in any time travel story. You just can't change events like that. You just kind of have to accept it. It's fiction. You can do that. 2, I like to think that the bigger the magic, the more dangerous it can be. So, using a time turner to do minuscule things, like going to both Rogue One and Moana at the same time, rather than having to choose, much simpler and easier and less dangerous than trying to go back and stop the Holocaust. Not to mention, there was a prophecy written about Harry Potter, and, that was the future that was supposed to take place. I mean, either Harry or Neville's parents were supposed to die, and then either Harry or Neville, the chosen one, was supposed to destroy Voldemort or be destroyed by Voldemort. That was written into the future, so you can't just change that. I would also like to point out that I'm not sure you guys noticed how the time turner works, as in you have to make a turn back, you have to turn it for every hour. Hermione goes back 3 hours in the book, and she does 3 turns. So, if Harry, being a 13-year-old and his parents dying when he was 1, he would have had to turn it back over 100,000 times. And then you have to live out the time period that you've gone back in order to re-meet with your timeline. So Harry would essentially be killing his 12-year-old self and going back in time, and then transplanting his 13-year-old self into the past, and then having to live so that by the time he reunited with his timeline, he'd be 25. Number 4, why didn't Fred and George ever see Peter Pettigrew on the map? This one I actually did think was a plot hole for a while, and I don't know if J.K. Rowling explicitly says this, but I'm pretty sure there's enough evidence to support it. The map doesn't show Animagi, and that is because the map doesn't show Animagi in their animal form. This is because the Marauders, the creators of the map, they were all illegal Animagi, so they were worried that if the map were to fall into the wrong hands, and that wrong hand were to be able to read it, that they would be found out as Animagi. It never mentions seeing Sirius or Rita Skeeter on the map. And when Snape comes in the 3rd book to the Shrieking Shack, he claims he only saw Remus and Sirius, but not Peter. He never claimed he saw Peter on the map.
Au revoir, sister.